Hi guys and welcome, my name is Jude and today I am here to do a review of Wildly Into the Dark by Tyler Knott Gregson. Now this book was sent to me to make a review of it and I am a huge fan of Tyler Knott's poetry, and if you do not know who he is, allow me to be overly dramatic and say that, oh my god, you're killing me. I've been following Tyler Knott since I joined Tumblr, and that was over 6 years ago, even longer I think. I'm not sure though, so don't quote me on that. But the point is that I have been following him for such a long time. I've always loved his poems. I just think he has such a unique point of view and the way he sees the world. It's so optimistic. So as I said, I've been reading his poems since back on Tumblr and now on Instagram. But I hadn't ever read a book by him before, like a full compilation of his work. So the opportunity to get my hands on this was just a poof. Now, if you do not know who Tyler Knott is or are familiar with his poetry, he is just such an optimistic guy. Like, he has this positive view of the world that just baffles me because I feel envious. Like, it goes to a point where I'm like, how can you see the world in such a light when I can't see it myself at all? He usually writes really short poems, like 6 lines kind of poem, little things, and they always convey such a romantic way of thinking, and not just in the relationship sense, but in the way he views the world and the way he seems to experience life. It's all tainted with this sort of like romantic feel to it. The first book he published, and also I believe his website, it's called Chaser of Light because he is constantly chasing the light. Metaphorically, I think. And if you follow him on just like Instagram, you can see that he's an overall positive guy and he has a very positive way of thinking. And I can't always relate to that because I feel like I'm just a very melancholic person overall. So as I said, I tend to feel envious of his work, and at times it feels kind of far off and I'm just trying to reach that state of mind, which is why I think I love his poetry so much. It's sort of like I aspire to see the world as he does. But in this book, Wildly Into the Dark, from page 1, like in the introduction, he sort of acknowledges that life isn't this big happy thing, that there are dark moments in life, but the key is to push through them to get to the light. That you have to run wildly into the dark to chase the light. You see what I did there? You see what I did there? Which is exactly why I loved this so much. It's the same passion of Tyler Knott. It's the same romantic way of thinking, way of viewing things. It's the same positive energy that he has, but acknowledging that there is like a dark side out there. It's a small glimpse into the darker side of Tyler Knott, and I loved it. It's very subtle because even in the poems in which he admits that sometimes things aren't so easy or sometimes life just gets tough, he still has a positive view. He still believes that things will get better, and I love that. It just feels like such a hopeful way of thinking, you know, that yes, maybe it really sucks. It's a really tough time that we're going through, or it's maybe a tough passage, but I'm gonna go through it like with force and with the energy and everything I have, and spread positivity into it, and I'm gonna get to the other side. It's intense. It's intense. There's so many poems that I liked, and I was like, I don't have post-its around because I can't find them, so I was putting money on the book to highlight the poems that I loved, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna read a few on camera. But then I began to highlight almost every poem, so it was really hard to choose something to read. There is this particular poem that I absolutely loved and adored, and it's really short. It's just a few lines, and I will read it to you. It says, I have iron in these veins. It pumps fierce through this heart. It makes solid this resolve. There isn't a damn thing I cannot endure. Smash it against me and mourn it as dust when it floats from my hair. I was never the rock or the poor man, eternity doomed to push it. I was the hell. I've always been the hell, and I will hold. Listen to the sounds of anvils, of hammers upon them. Listen to the ringing of metal every time I laugh. I was like, goddamn! I feel that this book as a whole is just such a fierce work from Tyler Knott, and I loved it. His work is passionate. You can read the Instagram poems and they are passionate, no matter how short, no matter how sweet. Tyler Knott puts passion into what he does, but this book feels just a little bit more raw, like more of a raw, uncontained passion, and I connected so much to this book. Now, the only thing that I didn't like about it is that the pages do not have numbers. So I struggle to find things. Yeah. There is this line in the book that I feel just says everything that the book is, and it says, I am a wild thing contained in flesh, and I still don't think it fits me right. And that's Tyler Knott. He is this wild thing trying to put what he feels and what he sees into his poetry, into his words, into his photographs, and I thought this was just such a masterful work, and just it's a bit odd because I feel that the poetry I usually read, it's the one that reflects how I feel inside, but with Tyler Knott, the poetry, his poetry, it's what I want to feel most. I want to see the world through his eyes. I would actually just love to meet him one day and like chat, like just talk over like a coffee and just be able to see what makes him him, but I don't think that will ever happen. I don't think we can like just schedule a coffee talk, but this was very close to the inside of his mind, and yes, of all his work, this has been my favorite, by far. There's just some true gems in here. Yay! And that will be it for today. If you guys follow any other Tumblr poets, Instagram poets, or whatever kind of poet that you love, leave it linked down below in the comment section. I would love to check it out. You can find all of the links to get this book and find Tyler in the description box right here. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!